Hi, welcome back to the Shiko Math Practice Lab. And this video, we're going to continue the Algebra 2 lecture series. And in this video, we're going to start lesson 2.9. And in this video, we're going to talk about what is the scatter plot and how do we find the line of regression and what is the purpose for that. And this topic is also a topic, that frequently, what happened on the SAT exam and the ACT exams. They give you a scatter plot, they give you a line of regression, and they want you to use the line of regression to forecast or estimate. Okay, so before we go to our worksheets and try to do some example, let's go to the whiteboard and I'm going to give you a very brief lecture about what is the scatter plot and what is the line of the regression means here. Okay, so the first thing is here, let's take a look. What is the scatter plot? Okay, the scatter plot, that means when you collect, so your data is here, right? So when you collect a paired data, okay, then you plot all your data points. What I mean the paired data, so you have X and Y here. Okay, so for examples here, what I mean the pairs data here. So for example, I want to know the numbers of the hours you study for the midterm exam, right? So number of the hours you study and the grade you get. The grade of the exams you get, right? So if you collect the data, you ask student A, you ask student B, you ask student D. So if you ask a bunch of students, so maybe one student say, I studied 2 hours and I got a 75. Then the student B say, hey, I studied 1 hour and I got a 78. And then the C student, they say, oh, I studied I studied 3 hours, right? So I studied 3 hours and I got 87. So then Those what I called is the paired data, right? So now when you try to graph it, so what is the scatter plot is about, right? So the scatter plot is like, so this will be your X, this is Y, right? So like in here, you say this is the numbers of the hours you study. And then this is your grade, right? So this is the grade of the exam. So if you plot all the data you collect, right? So in here you will say, okay, here, this is 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, and then maybe here, this is the grade, right? So you start with 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and then 100s, right? So you ask all the students and then you plot it, so you will get something like this, right? Okay, so if you get something like this, so this is what we called is the scatter plot. So for each one, you will have X value, for Y value. So you plot each one as a point here, correct? And then you see those points in general, they show kind of the relationship with number of the hours study and the grade. So what is a regression line? The regression line is basically say, hey, I want to find a linear equation which is the best to describe those points. So maybe you can fit linear lines here. Okay, so that's what we call this is the regression lines here. So if this is 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours studies, right? And so, that's what we call the regression line. And of course, mathematically, there is a very, they have several different methods to find the regression line. But in here, since we are only in the algebra 2, right? So we just need to understand what is the lines for. And then you can, the one way, like in the exercise, it asks you to do, you to choose any 2 points and to get this regression line. But I said in the mathematical, it's a very, very complete and like the method you can do it and so find the line. But in here, we're not going to go that deep here, all right? So the purpose for the line is basically I'm going to use this one to do estimation. So that means, so today, if I study 4.5 hours, then I want to use my line to estimate what is the grade I'm going to get. Okay, that's what I mean, the regression lines here. So if the X go up, Y go up, so the number of hours study you increase, you expect your grade increase, right? Then the lines to fit, right? So that means you see, okay, I can use this line to fit all these points. So maybe it's not the best fit, but I also can use this line to estimate. If I do decide for next test, I study for 4.5 hours, then what will be my grade? So that's the purpose for the scatter plot, right? So the scatter plot, so let's do a fresh review. So what is a scatter plot? Scatter plot is you plot what type of the data, a paired data, right? So you have X and Y, so you plot what X and what Y, so you got different points here. And then what is the regression lines here, right? So the regression line, that's the line I will find to best fit those points, right? So the purpose for that is mainly I'm going to use the regression line to estimate or, forecast. So you will say, okay, if it's 4.5 hours, then what I can get here, all right? Okay, so now let's go back to our worksheets and then let's take a look here, right? And so here, okay. Okay, so you should see this. Okay, so like in here, maybe I can get this graph a little bit bigger. So then, okay, then we can easier to graph it, right? Okay, so in here we set up, the regression, the scatter plot and the prediction equations, right? So, okay, so that's why let's take a look at the definitions here. A set of the data point graph as all the pairs, right? Like we talk about it, we call this a scatter plot. And the scatter plot also, that's why the key things here, like we say, is can use to see there's a relationship about it. Like the example we give, the number of hours you study and the grade, right? So the line of the fit, right? So this is the line of the fit. And so it's the line closely approximated to the set of the data here. Like in here, the key things here. So what are we going to do? We're going to predict, right? So we're going to use this line to predict. That's what, that's what we talk about in our brief lectures here. Okay, so let's take a look at these examples here. And after this one, we'll do another one. Here is the exercise. So we have, I have 3 problems here for you as you take home exercise. You can go to do it. Okay, so now this is the weight. So the table gives us the weight in tons and the estimated fuel, economic in the miles per gallons. Okay, so let's take a look here. How do I do a scatter plot here? So let me use better colors here. So 1.3, right? So it's something here, 1.3, 29. 1.3, 29, 29 should be pretty close to here, right? So this will be my first point. Okay, 1.4, 24, 1.4, 24, such as in here, 1.5, 23, so something here, right? Is then 1.8, 1.8 will be in here, right? 1.8 is 21, so somewhere here. Then I'm missing, this is the one, I don't have the value, we're going to use our line to estimate that. Okay, now 2.1, 2.1 somewhere here is 17, so it's kind of a 2.1 is 17, so it's some point here. Then 2.4 is here, is 15, right? So 15 is here. So those are the line. Those are the scatter plots here. Okay, so then the problem is say, do a scatter plot, right? And then to find the line to describe the relation. Okay, so in here, now, basically like what we did before, that means you try to find the lines here, right? So maybe I can fit a line like this. Right, so sorry for my drawing. This is the lines here, right? And then the problem says, hey, choose any 2 points, and try to get these lines here. So like in here, I typically like to choose the first. I like to choose the first pair and the last pairs here. Okay, so now I will have 2 points here. My 2 points here is 1.3. And the what? And the 229s, right? Another one is 2.4 and the 15s, right? So this is x1, y1, and this is x2, y2 here, right? So what is the slopes here? So the slope will be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So it will be 15 minus 29. Then this is 2.4 minus 1.3. So I calculated this will be negative 12.72. Okay, so now because I have the slope, then I can use the slope and 1 point. So I'm choosing this point to be in my lines here. It doesn't matter, right? So the slope and the 1 points here. So my line will be what? My line will be y minus y1. Y value is 15 is equal to negative 12.72 x minus 2.4. Correct? Okay. So then this is y minus 15. So this will be what? So this will be, okay, so this will be negative 12.72x. So if you use 12.72 times 2.4, so what you have here is 30. So you use plus 30.528. Okay, now you plus 15 plus 15. So what you have here, so your lines here is y equal to negative 12.72x and the plus 45.528, right? So this will be the line we just draw in here. So now you want to estimate when equal to 2, right? That's the one, the value I'm missing. So you will just say y is equal to the negative 12.72 times 2, right? Plus 45.528. So what you get here, 20.09. Okay, so let's go back to plot it. Okay, so in here, so for 20s, right? So my estimate is 20.09. So that means in here, right? 20.09. So this one's here, right? By using this line. So I know my line probably is not will fit here. So Okay, so maybe my line should fit like this, right? Okay. So that's why if I use the first point and last point, so that's what I get 20.09. That will be my estimate, the value for here. Get it? Okay, so this one here will be 20.09. It's kind of makes sense, right? It's kind of continue going down, right? Okay, so now very good. So let's take a look at the second province here. Okay, so for the second province, let's also enlarge the graph so we can see the picture better. Okay, so now let's take a look. Okay, so now let's do here. Okay, so for 5, I got a 9, so the point is somewhere here. 10, I got a 17, so it's something here, right? 20, I got a 22, so probably something here. 25, I got a 30, so it's here. Okay, then 35, I have 38, so probably something here. And 40, I got a 44 here. Okay, so I got a 44 here. Now I'm looking for is, okay, so I think I just exit the share screen, huh? Okay, okay, so now I'm just looking for, you know, this ones here, right? So this is missing, so I need to find the line and the equations for that. So for this ones here, so now if I try to fit a line here, I hope I can draw the line correctly, okay? So that's what if I fit a line here, that will be my regression lines, right? So now let's say they use 2 points, right, to do that. So still, I always like to choose the, you know, the first point and the last point here. So this is 5 and the 9. Okay, and then the other point is 40 and the 44, right? Okay, so let me get a little bit more space so we can have space to write. Okay, now let's back here. Okay, so the first thing here, I want to find the slope here. So the slope is y2 minus y1. So it's 44 minus 9, x2 minus x1. So it's 40 minus 5. So what do you have here? Oh, it's 35 over 35. Wow, that's pretty good. So it's 35 over 35. So the slope is 1 here, right? So now I can define this line. I will choose the 1 point. So in here, this time I will choose this one. It doesn't matter which one you choose, you always get the same answer, right? So this will be y minus 9 is equal to 1 times x minus 5 here, right? So it's 1 minus 9 is equal to x minus 5. Then you plus 9 plus 9. So what you have here, so you have y equal to x plus 4 here, right? So this is your regression line. So now I'm going to estimate, so what I'm estimating here, x equal to 50, right? So you say y is equal to, x is equal to 50 plus 4. So what is here is 54 here, right? So that's what is your estimate is 54. So that means when the x equal to 50, you're going to have something here, right? So this is the y value is 54 here. That is what we call is the scatter plot and the regression line. So in here you have the 3 different problems here. They all related to the scatter plot and the regression lines, right? So remember, the scatter plot is you plot a paired data. So you want to see the relationship about these 2 variables. Then the line, the regression line we use is the line to describe this relationship, right? So you can hope to use this line to predict or to estimate what happens if you give different x values there. Okay, that's it. That's for this topic, the scatter plot and the regression line. Like I said, this is also is a frequently occurred problem in your college entry exams, SAT and ACT exams here. Okay, so most likely they will already give you these lines here, right? So they will say, hey, I use this line and they want to use this line to estimate, to forecast. All right. Okay, that's it. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and so have a good day, and I'm looking forward to talk to you again in our next topic. All right. Okay. Bye. And nice to talk to you. Okay. Bye-bye.